As I sit here, surrounded by the memories of a lifetime, I'm reminded of the wise words my grandmother, Aurora, once shared with me. The truth is like a river, it flows and changes, but its essence remains. For years, I thought I knew Aurora like the back of my hand, her open book of a life a testament to her love, wisdom, and generosity. Those piercing blue eyes, sparkling like a summer sky on a cloudless day, seemed to hold a depth of understanding that I could only hope to grasp one day. Her hugs, warm and enveloping, could heal any pain, mend any sorrow. But life, as I would come to realize, has a way of shrouding even the most seemingly transparent of souls in mystery. The day she passed away, our family was bathed in a sorrow so profound it felt like a physical presence, a weight that pressed upon us all. In the days that followed, as we sorted through her belongings, I couldn't shake the feeling that a part of me had been severed. It was as if I'd lost not just my grandmother but a piece of myself. Among her treasured possessions, a beautiful, old wooden box caught my eye. It was tucked away in a corner of her attic, its surface worn and dusty, as if time itself had tried to claim it. I ran my fingers over the intricate carvings, feeling an inexplicable pull, a sense of connection that I couldn't quite explain. It was then, with a mix of curiosity and trepidation, that I opened the box. The nest of the yellow pages and an old photograph surprised me. Aidenly, but it was what lay within, nestled between the folds of a yellowed, crinkled piece of paper, that would change everything. A diary, bound in a worn, brown leather cover, lay before me. The cover creaked as I opened it, releasing the scent of aged paper and forgotten memories. The pages, yellowed with age, were filled with Aurora's handwriting, a script I'd known and loved, yet now seemed to hold secrets and stories I had never imagined. As I began to read, the familiar contours of her handwriting transported me to a world both intimate and unknown. The words danced across the page, a mixture of sorrow, love, and longing that seemed to seep into my very being. With each turned page, I felt the ground beneath me shifting, like the first tremors of an earthquake. The woman I thought I knew was about to reveal herself in ways both astonishing and heartbreaking. In those initial moments, as the reality of her hidden life began to sink in, I felt like a sailor lost at sea, clinging to the wreckage of what I once knew. And yet, there was an undeniable allure to the mystery that lay before me, a siren's call to follow the breadcrumbs of her story into the unknown. This diary, penned by Aurora's own hand, promised to unveil the secrets of an extraordinary life, a life marked by forbidden love, sacrifice, and a lost treasure that spanned generations. As I sit here now, with the diary's secrets slowly unraveling before me, I'm compelled to share this journey with you. Over the coming chapters, we'll embark on a path that winds through historical turmoil and personal struggle, illuminated by the enduring power of love and sacrifice. It's a story of hidden legacies, of choices made in the face of overwhelming odds, and of the unseen threads that bind us all. In the quiet moments, as the shadows grow long and the world slows its frantic pace, I sense that you're joining me on this pilgrimage into the heart of my family's past. Together, we'll navigate the complexities of love, loss, and the indelible mark that our ancestors leave upon us. And as the story unfolds, I invite you to bear witness to the revelations that shatter the illusion of knowing, only to reveal the profound depth of a life lived in the shadows of history. With every word, every sentence, I'll draw you closer to the heart of the mystery, to the whispers of a woman who, for 70 years, hid her truth from the world. A truth that, like a river, continued to flow, unseen but never truly hidden, its essence a testament to the indomitable spirit of love and resilience. Join me, as we embark on this odyssey, guided by the light of Aurora's indomitable spirit, and the simple, yet profound, power of her story. Willow Creek in the late 1930s was a place where time seemed to stand still, where the air was sweet with the scent of blooming wildflowers and the earthy smell of freshly turned PL soil. The assistant start_header_ID assistant end_header_ID I will ensure to provide a response in the required format and within the specified constraints. The world before the storm was a tranquil one. Willow Creek, a small rural town nestled in the heart of the countryside, was untouched by the rapid changes that seemed to be sweeping the nation. It was a place where simplicity and peace reigned, where days began and ended with the sun, and where the rhythms of nature dictated the pace of life. In this idyllic setting, a young Aurora grew up, her dreams and imagination fueled by the countless hours she spent reading under the sprawling branches of an ancient oak tree. Her love for books was a source of comfort and escape, allowing her to transcend the boundaries of her small town and explore the world beyond. With each turn of the page, she'd find herself in far-off lands, meeting people from all walks of life, and experiencing things she had only ever dreamed of. Aurora's family was the epitome of hard work and dedication. Her parents, farmers who toiled from dawn till dusk, instilled in their children the value of a day's work well done. Her older brother, Thomas, was a bright and ambitious young man, with a passion for flying that seemed to burn brighter with each passing day. He'd spend hours poring over books on aviation, his eyes shining with excitement as he dreamed of soaring through the skies. Then their assistant Lily's sister, who poetical idol observed view Lily would weave in words whirled around. The daily routine was dictated by nature's rhythms, mornings in the fields, school days filled with learning, and starry nights that seemed to stretch on forever. Life was simple, yet rich in its own way. The family would gather around the dinner table, sharing stories of their day, their laughter and conversation filling the air. It was a time of simple joys and contentment, where love and affection were freely given. But amidst this peaceful backdrop, a subtle restlessness stirred within Aurora. A sense of discontent, a yearning for something more, began to simmer beneath the surface. It was an unarticulated desire, one she couldn't quite put her finger on, but it was there, gnawing at her just the same. As she'd walk through the fields, feeling the sun's warmth on her skin and the wind rustling her hair, she'd find herself wondering what lay beyond the horizon, what secrets the world held that she couldn't quite grasp. The evenings would find her sitting on the porch, her notebook and pen in hand, as she tried to capture the beauty of the world around her. She'd write of sunsets that painted the sky with hues, and deep light dancing leaves. In those quiet moments, she felt most alive, as if her words could somehow bridge the gap between her dreams and reality. As the seasons passed, Aurora's inner world grew more complex, feelings contradiction swirling her. She felt rooted to the land, to her family, and yet, a growing sense of disconnection. The creek seemed to flow smoothly on surface but eddies beneath tugged at her. And quietly but intensely she began to sense that her life would not be as predictable as the rhythms of the creek. As the summer of 1939 drew to a close, the warmth of the sun-baked days began to wane, and the evenings grew cooler, carrying the whispers of a changing world. In Willow Creek, the air was alive with the chirping of crickets and the rustle of leaves, a soothing serenade that had lulled Aurora and her family into a sense of security. But beyond the horizon, the drums of war were beating louder, day by day. At first, the news from Europe seemed distant, a murmur of troubles in a far-off land. Thomas, Aurora's brother, would often gather around the radio with their friends, listening to broadcasts about the rising tensions between Germany and Poland. Their eyes would light up with excitement as they imagined the thrill of adventure, of being part of something bigger than themselves. But their parents, Emma and James, exchanged worried glances, their faces creased with concern. They had lived through hard times before, and the prospect of another war was a daunting one. Aurora, too, felt the unease growing inside her. She would sit on the porch, watching the stars twinkle to life, and wonder what the future held. Her dreams of escaping the confines of Willow Creek seemed to fade, replaced by a sense of foreboding. She began to question the world's justice, wondering how such darkness could exist alongside the beauty of her own life. One evening, as she was writing in her diary by the soft light of the lamp, the sound of footsteps on the gravel road outside caught her attention. She looked up to see a young man in a military uniform walking towards her house. His eyes, a deep shade of blue, seemed to hold a world of stories, and Aurora felt an inexplicable jolt of curiosity. As he approached, the creaking of the porch swing seemed to grow louder, and the crickets' chirping took on a more urgent tone. The young man, Elias, introduced himself with a gentle smile, and Aurora's heart skipped a beat. There was something about him that seemed different from the other boys in town, a quiet confidence that drew her in. Elias's eyes roamed over the small town, taking in the quaint houses and the bustling town square. He seemed to be searching for something, or someone. Aurora felt a shiver run down her spine as their gazes met, a spark of electricity that she couldn't ignore. As they talked, the stars began to twinkle brighter, and the night air grew thick with an unspoken tension. Elias spoke of his travels, of his experiences in the military, but there was a sense of evasion, a hint that he was holding back. Aurora's curiosity was piqued, and she found herself wanting to know more about this enigmatic stranger. The sound of the crickets grew fainter, replaced by the distant hum of a radio broadcast, its words indistinct but its tone unmistakable, a call to action, to vigilance. The world was changing, and Willow Creek was no longer immune to its turmoil. As Elias turned to leave, his eyes locked onto Aurora's, and she felt the ground beneath her feet begin to shift. In that moment, she knew that her life was about to change forever, that the tranquility of Willow Creek was on the cusp of being shattered. The war, with all its dangers and uncertainties, was coming for them, and Elias, this mysterious young man, seemed to be at the center of it all. Aurora's heart beat faster, her senses on high alert, as she watched him disappear into the night, wondering what secrets he carried with him, and what lay ahead for her and her family. As the days turned into weeks, the shadow of war crept closer to Willow Creek, casting a pall of uncertainty over the town. For Aurora, the tranquility of her life was rapidly becoming a memory, thanks to the arrival of Elias. Their paths crossed more frequently, and with each encounter, the connection between them deepened. They found solace in stolen moments, a whispered conversation in the dead of night, a fleeting touch in the bustling market, or a shared glance that spoke volumes. The old barn on the outskirts of town became their sanctuary, a place where time seemed to stand still. It was there, under the rustic wooden beams and amidst the sweet scent of hay, that they dared to dream of a future. Elias, with his piercing gaze and quiet confidence, had awakened something within Aurora, a sense of purpose, of defiance against the looming darkness. In the golden light of a setting sun, they would meet in the sunflower field, the tall stalks swaying gently in the breeze like sentinels guarding a precious secret. Their conversations flowed like a river, effortless and natural, as they shared stories, hopes, and fears. Elias spoke of his life before Willow Creek, of a world beyond the confines of their small town, and of a mission that weighed heavily on his shoulders. Aurora listened, entranced, as the stars began to twinkle in the night sky. She felt the weight of his secrets, the burden he carried with a quiet strength that inspired her own courage. Their love blossomed in these moments, a beacon of light in a world on the brink of chaos. But as their bond grew stronger, so did the sense of danger. Elias's eyes would cloud over, and he would fall silent, as if listening to a voice only he could hear. It was then that Aurora realized the true nature of his presence in Willow Creek. One evening, as they sat together on the edge of the sunflower field, Elias took her hand, his touch sending shivers down her spine. "Aurora, I have to tell you something," he began, his voice low and urgent. "I'm not who you think I am. I'm a German scientist, a deserter. I was working on a project, something I didn't agree with. I had to leave, to prevent it from falling into the wrong hands." The words hung in the air, heavy with implication. Aurora's heart raced as she processed the revelation. She felt a mix of emotions, fear, confusion, but also a deep sense of loyalty to the man she loved. "What does this have to do with me?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Elias's eyes locked onto hers, filled with a deep sadness. "I'm searching for an encryption device, something that could change the course of the war. It's hidden somewhere in Willow Creek, and I need your help to find it." As they spoke, the sound of footsteps echoed through the streets, growing louder with each passing day. Strangers appeared in town, their eyes scanning the crowds with an unnerving intensity. Aurora noticed they were being watched, that Elias was being followed. The air was thick with tension, and the once peaceful town was now a hotbed of suspicion and fear. It was then that Elias revealed the artifact's possible location, an ancient labyrinth beneath the old church, left behind by his mentor, a clockmaker. The thought of exploring dark, forgotten passages filled Aurora with a mix of trepidation and determination. With each step, Aurora felt herself transforming, evolving from a passive observer to an active participant in Elias's perilous mission. Her diary became her sole confidant, a repository of her fears, her love, and her growing resolve. As she wrote, the words poured out of her like a cathartic release, a declaration of her defiance against the shadows closing in. The diary entries grew more sporadic, but each one was a testament to her courage, a declaration of her love for Elias and her determination to protect him, no matter the cost. And so, with every passing day, Aurora found herself drawn deeper into the heart of the storm, her love for Elias and her desire to safeguard her family's future becoming the beacons that guided her through the encroaching darkness. In the silence of the night, as she poured her heart onto the pages of her diary, Aurora knew she had made her choice. She would stand by Elias, face the danger head-on, and uncover the secrets that had been hidden for so long. The artifact, the labyrinth, and the encryption device were no longer just relics of a bygone era, they were the keys to their survival, to the future they both dared to dream of. As the moon cast its silvery glow over Willow Creek, Aurora's heart beat with a newfound sense of purpose. She was no longer just a girl caught in the tides of history, she was a woman, determined to forge her own path, no matter the cost. And in the shadows, the diary waited, a silent witness to her transformation, a testament to the enduring power of love and sacrifice. As I sit here, reflecting on the events that transpired in the depths of that forsaken labyrinth, I am transported back to the moments that tested the very fabric of Aurora's existence. The air was heavy with anticipation, thick with the scent of damp earth and decay, as she and Elias navigated the narrow passages, their hearts pounding in unison. The sound of dripping water echoed through the corridors, a steady heartbeat that seemed to synchronize with their own. Their quest, fraught with peril, had finally led them to the threshold of the secret chamber. The clockmaker's puzzle, a complex web of gears and levers, lay before them. Elias's hands moved with a quiet urgency, his eyes locked on the mechanism as he worked to disable the final trap. Aurora watched, her breath caught in her throat, as the last piece clicked into place, and the sound of shifting stone reverberated through the passage. The chamber, small and circular, was dominated by a single, ornate box. The artifact, a device of intricate beauty, lay within. Its surface, etched with symbols of a forgotten language, seemed to glow with an otherworldly light. Elias's eyes met Aurora's, and for a moment, they forgot the danger that lurked outside. They forgot the war, the Nazis, the secrets and the lies. All that mattered was the artifact, and the promise it held. But their triumph was short-lived. The sound of footsteps, heavy and deliberate, echoed through the labyrinth. The Nazis had found them. Elias's face set in a determined line, he pushed Aurora behind him, his eyes scanning the passage. The sound of gunfire, the smell of gunpowder, and the cries of the enemy, it all seemed to converge in a maelstrom of chaos. Aurora's heart was a wild thing, pounding in her chest as she watched Elias take down the first few agents with a precision that belied his desperation. But there were too many, and soon Elias was cornered, his back against the wall as the enemy closed in. That's when Aurora saw her chance. Using her knowledge of the labyrinth, she launched herself at the attackers, taking down as many as she could. The sound of her own breathing, the feel of her heart racing, it was all that seemed to matter. Elias, wounded and faltering, looked at her with a gaze that spoke volumes. His eyes, filled with a deep sadness, seemed to hold 1,000 unspoken words. He mouthed something, but the sound was lost in the din of battle. Aurora knew, in that moment, what he was trying to tell her. She nodded, a silent understanding passing between them. As the fight raged on, Elias took a final, desperate stand. With a look that pierced her very soul, he handed her the artifact. "You have to get out of here," he whispered, his voice barely audible. "You have to keep it safe." Aurora's hands closed around the device, a sense of responsibility settling upon her like a mantle. The sound of gunfire grew louder, and Elias's body began to slump. Aurora's world narrowed to a single point, the man she loved, the man who had given his life for her, for their future. She felt a scream building inside her, a raw, anguished cry that seemed to tear at her very being. But she stifled it, channeling her grief into a steely resolve. With the artifact clutched tightly in her hand, Aurora turned to flee. The labyrinth, once a prison, now seemed to stretch out before her like a twisted, nightmarish landscape. She ran, her footsteps echoing off the walls, as the sound of Elias's final breath seemed to fade into the distance. The darkness closed in around her, a living, breathing entity that threatened to consume her. But Aurora refused to be swallowed whole. She ran, her heart heavy with grief, yet buoyed by a sense of purpose. The diary, her constant companion, now seemed to weigh more heavily in her hands. It was a testament to their love, to Elias's sacrifice, and to the burden she now carried. As she emerged into the cool night air, Aurora felt the weight of her new reality settle upon her. The stars above seemed to twinkle like cold, uncaring eyes. Yet, in that moment, she knew she was not alone. Elias's spirit, his love, and his sacrifice would guide her through the trials to come. The artifact, a symbol of their bond, seemed to pulse with a life of its own, urging her forward. The silence of the night was a balm to her soul, a reminder that there was still beauty in the world, even in the face of unspeakable horror. And as she walked, the diary's pages rustling in her pocket, Aurora knew that she would carry Elias's legacy with her always, a beacon of hope in a world torn apart by darkness. The story of their love, of sacrifice and courage, would live on, a testament to the enduring power of the human spirit. As I emerged from the labyrinth, the night air enveloped me like a shroud, heavy with the scent of damp earth and decaying leaves. The rain lashed down, stinging my skin and blurring my vision, but I didn't dare slow my pace. I had to get back home, to the safety of my family's eyes, though I knew I'd never be able to share the truth of what had just transpired. My heart was a churning sea, turmoil of grief and fear wrestling for dominance. Elias, my Elias, was gone. The weight of his sacrifice crushed me, making every step feel like a betrayal. I stumbled through the darkness, the artifact clutched tightly in my hand, its smooth surface a cold comfort against the anguish that threatened to consume me. The walk home was a blur, my senses dulled by the relentless rain and my own despair. I couldn't shake the image of Elias's eyes, locked on mine as he handed me the device, his voice barely audible over the pounding of my heart. "Protect it, Aurora. Protect us." The words echoed through my mind, a haunting reminder of the burden I'd shouldered. As I pushed open the creaky door, a warm glow of candlelight spilled out, and the familiar scent of cooking wafted through the air, making my stomach turn. My family, oblivious to the storm raging inside me, bustled about the kitchen, their laughter and chatter a jarring contrast to my inner turmoil. I forced a smile, a fragile mask to conceal the chasm within. My mother, ever perceptive, raised an eyebrow, concern flickering in her eyes. "Aurora, dear, you look like you've seen a ghost." I brushed it off, the lie tasting bitter on my lips. "Just a long night, Mother. I'm fine." The days that followed were a haze of pretending, of wearing a mask of normalcy while inside, I was unraveling. The news of Elias's accident spread quickly, and the townspeople offered their condolences, but I knew the truth, that he'd died for a cause much larger than ourselves. My diary became my sole confidant, the pages a sanctuary where I could bleed out my grief, my anger, and my sense of purpose. I wrote of Elias, of his bravery, of his sacrifice, and of the device that now weighed so heavily on my shoulders. As I navigated the routines of daily life, I felt increasingly isolated. My family noticed the change in me, the distant look in my eyes, the quieter, more withdrawn demeanor. But I couldn't share the truth, not even with them. The burden of secrecy was a crushing weight, one I carried alone, hidden behind a facade of smiles and platitudes. Yet, even in the midst of such overwhelming grief, a resolve began to form within me. A determination to honor Elias's memory, to fulfill his mission, and to ensure his sacrifice wasn't in vain. I started to study the artifact, poring over Elias's notes in the diary, seeking to understand its purpose and the secrets it held. The local library became my refuge, a place where I could lose myself in books and research, driven by the need to decipher the mysteries of the device. In the silence of the library, surrounded by dusty tomes and flickering fluorescent lights, I found a sense of solace. The world outside receded, and I could focus on the task at hand, unraveling the enigma of the artifact. My fingers moved with a newfound purpose, tracing the lines of Elias's handwriting, my heart aching with every word. I was no longer just Aurora, the girl from Willow Creek. I was a guardian, a protector, and a seeker of truth. The rain continued to fall, a relentless drumbeat that mirrored the turmoil within me. But I stood, slowly, against its deluge, a nascent resolve hardening into a determination that would carry me through the trials ahead. I would uncover the secrets of the device, honor Elias's legacy, and find a way to make his sacrifice count. The diary, now a tangible link to him, was my guide, my comfort, and my challenge. As I pored over its pages, I knew that I was just beginning a journey that would change me forever, one that would test my courage, my heart, and my very soul. As I reflect on Grandma's life, fishing her voice, I find my journey self. In the bustling city of Ravenswood, a world away from the serene hills of Willow Creek. The decision to leave wasn't easy. It was a mix of necessity and a longing for anonymity. The memories of Elias, of the labyrinth, and the weight of the artifact still lingered, but she knew that to protect it, she had to move. A modest apartment in a less affluent neighborhood became her new haven, its small, cluttered rooms a far cry from the spacious, comforting home she once knew. Every morning, Aurora would step out into a world that seemed to have forgotten the tranquility of her hometown. The cacophony of city sounds, the chatter of pedestrians, the honking of cars, and the constant hum of activity, was both overwhelming and liberating. It was here, amidst the anonymity of the urban sprawl, that she began to weave a new life for herself. A simple job at a local diner allowed her to blend in, to become just another face in the crowd. Yet, it was her nights that truly defined her. The local library became her sanctuary, a place where she could lose herself in the pages of old books and documents. With Elias's diary as her guide, Aurora embarked on an intense journey of self-education. She pored over texts on cryptography, studied maps of Europe, and learned about the political climate of the time. The artifact, now safely hidden away, was her constant motivation, a reminder of the responsibility she had shouldered. As the days turned into weeks, and the weeks into months, Aurora's transformation was nothing short of remarkable. She evolved from a grieving young woman into a resourceful, capable individual. Her determination to understand the artifact and utilize it to its full potential drove her to learn at an incredible pace. She became adept at observing without being noticed, at listening without seeming to hear. The art of discretion became her ally, a skill she honed with each passing day. The artifact, she discovered, was far more powerful than she had initially thought. It was not just a device for encryption but a tool of immense intelligence capability, capable of deciphering enemy codes and predicting strategic movements. This realization both thrilled and terrified her. The weight of her mission had grown exponentially, but so had her resolve. Aurora's days were filled with the quiet thrill of the hunt for information. She would often find herself in archives, dusty rooms filled with forgotten histories, where she would meticulously go through files and documents, searching for any mention of the artifact or Elias's mentor, the relojero. Her nights were spent assembling and disassembling the device, trying to understand its intricacies, to unlock its full potential. But with growth came danger. The Nazi threat was far from over, agents still roamed, searching for the artifact. Her solitude was a double-slotted sword, gave her the space to focus on her mission but also left her vulnerable to the shadows that pursued her. There were moments of intense fear, like the night she spotted a suspicious individual lingering around her apartment building. The way her heart raced, her senses on high alert, as she subtly evaded surveillance, blending into the crowd with a practiced ease that belied her fear. These were the moments that tested her, that pushed her to the limits of her endurance. Yet, with each narrow escape, Aurora found a strange kind of strength. She became more vigilant, more cautious, but never once did she consider giving up. Elias's memory, the promise she had made to him, and the artifact's potential to change the course of the war kept her going. In the silence of her apartment, surrounded by the detritus of her research, maps, books, and notes, Aurora would often pause, lost in thought. She remembered Elias's smile, his laughter, and the look in his eyes when he handed her the artifact. Tears would well up, but she wouldn't let them fall. She couldn't afford to let grief consume her, not now, not when she was so close to understanding the true power of the device. As she sat there, the soft glow of a single lamp casting shadows on her face, Aurora realized that she had become something she never thought she'd be, a guardian of secret legacies, a keeper of hidden histories. And in doing so, she had discovered a strength within herself, a resilience forged in the fire of loss and determination. The journey was far from over. The shadows would continue to pursue her, and the path ahead was fraught with peril. But Aurora was no longer the same young woman who had lived a tranquil life in Willow Creek. She had grown into a guardian of secrets, a silent warrior in a war that seemed to have no end. And as she looked out into the night, the city lights twinkling like stars in the distance, she knew she was ready. Ready to face whatever came next, armed with nothing but her wits, her courage, and the legacy of a man she had come to love. The war had finally reached its crescendo, with the Allies pushing forward on all fronts. For Aurora, the past few years had been a blur of secrecy and sacrifice, her days filled with the weight of the artifact and the responsibility of ensuring its power was used for good. She had become an integral part of a secret network, transmitting crucial intelligence that had changed the course of battles and saved countless lives. As she sat in the dimly lit office, her fingers flying across the radio keys, she felt Elias's presence beside her, his spirit guiding her through the chaos. The artifact, now a trusted companion, hummed softly in her pocket, its gentle vibrations a reminder of the burden she carried. With each message sent, she felt a sense of pride and purpose, knowing that she was making a difference. The news of the war's end came like a tidal wave, washing over her with a mix of emotions. Relief, exhaustion, and a deep-seated sense of loss all fought for dominance as she processed the reality of it all. The silence that followed was almost deafening, a stark contrast to the constant din of artillery and screams that had filled her nights for so long. Aurora's eyes wandered to the small, intricately carved music box on her mantel. She opened it, revealing the artifact nestled within, its metal surface gleaming softly in the fading light. A bittersweet smile played on her lips as she remembered Elias, the way he'd looked at her with such trust and hope. She wound the music box, and a gentle melody filled the air, transporting her back to those moments of uncertainty and fear. The days turned into weeks, and the weeks into months. Aurora began to feel the weight of shifting, the burden of her secrets slowly becoming more bearable. She started to envision a new life, one free from the constant threat of discovery and pursuit. The war had changed her, but it had also given her a sense of direction, a reason to keep moving forward. It was then that she decided to return to Willow Creek, to rebuild and rediscover the simple joys of life. The rolling hills and familiar streets welcomed her back with open arms, their tranquility a balm to her weary soul. She settled into a small cottage on the outskirts of town, surrounded by the soothing sounds of nature and the comforting presence of old friends. As she looked out at the garden she had tended, watching children play and laugh, Aurora felt a sense of peace settle over her. This was her new beginning, a chance to live a life that wasn't defined by war and loss, but by love, forgiveness, and hope. She started volunteering at the local library, helping children with their reading, and sharing her own stories of resilience and courage. Years passed, and Aurora became a pillar of the community, known for her wisdom and kindness. Her home was a sanctuary, filled with the scent of baking and the sound of laughter. It was here that she would sit with her granddaughter, the narrator, sharing tales of a life lived in the shadows, of love and sacrifice. The narrator's eyes would light up as Aurora spoke of Elias and the artifact, of the war and its aftermath. And as she shared her stories, Aurora could see the depth of understanding growing within her, a realization that the seemingly simple life she led was built upon a foundation of extraordinary experiences and profound sacrifices. As the sun set on another day, Aurora's thoughts turned to Elias, to the war, and to the journey that had brought her to this place of peace. She smiled softly, feeling the weight of her years, but also the richness of a life well lived. The music box on her mantel seemed to hum in agreement, its gentle vibrations a reminder of the power of love and forgiveness to heal even the deepest wounds. The narrator's voice, young and curious, broke into her reverie. "Grandma Aurora, tell me more about that time." And with a warm, gentle smile, Aurora began to speak, her words painting vivid pictures of a life that had been lived in the service of others, a testament to the enduring power of love and sacrifice. As she spoke, the room seemed to fade away, leaving only the two of them, suspended in a sea of memories and emotions. The stories flowed from her like a river, each one a testament to the human spirit's capacity for resilience and courage. And as the narrator listened, entranced, Aurora could see the lessons of her life being passed down, a legacy of love and forgiveness that would continue to inspire and guide her family for generations to come. The room grew quiet, the only sound the soft hum of the music box and the gentle rustle of pages turning. Aurora's eyes met her granddaughter's, and in that moment, she knew that she had finally found her true purpose, to share her story, to inspire, and to love without condition. The darkness of her past had given way to a bright, shining light, one that would guide her family through the trials and tribulations of their own lives. As the evening drew to a close, Aurora wrapped her granddaughter in a warm hug, holding her close as the music box played softly in the background. "I'm so proud of you," she whispered, her voice filled with emotion. "You carry the best of me within you, and I know you'll make your own way in this world, with love, courage, and a heart full of hope." And in that moment, Aurora knew that she had truly come home, not just to Willow Creek, but to herself. As I sit here, surrounded by the familiar comforts of my grandmother's old armchair and the warm glow of the afternoon sun streaming through the window, I feel the weight of her diary in my hands. The worn leather cover, adorned with a small silver lock and key, seems to whisper secrets to me, drawing me into the world of her memories. The pages, yellowed with age, reveal the story of a life lived in the shadows, a life of love, sacrifice, and hidden legacies. I remember the countless hours I spent as a child, listening to Grandma Aurora's tales of fairies and heroes, of magical lands and daring quests. At the time, I thought they were just stories, meant to entertain and inspire. But now, as I read through her diary, I realized that those stories were more than just fantasies, they were metaphors for her own extraordinary life. The brave heroes and cunning fairies were, in fact, reflections of her own strength and resilience. As I reflect on her story, I begin to see the complexity and beauty of life's tapestry. Grandma Aurora's legacy is not just the artifact she protected, or the secrets she kept hidden for so long. It's the silent strength she embodied, the wisdom she shared through her stories, and the unconditional love she showed to those around her. Her diary is a map to her soul, a testament to the power of love and sacrifice in the face of adversity. I think back to my own life, to the struggles and triumphs I've faced, and I see the parallels with Grandma Aurora's journey. Her experiences, though lived in a different time and place, continue to inspire and guide me. I realize that I've been carrying her legacy forward, even when I didn't know it. The lessons she taught me, though often implicit, have shaped me into the person I am today. As I read through the diary, I'm struck by the emotional catharsis that comes with understanding. I feel a deep sense of peace, a sense of connection to my grandmother and to the past. The diary becomes a personal treasure, a guide for navigating life's challenges and uncertainties. I'm grateful for the journey of discovery, for the chance to see my grandmother in a new light. Her story teaches me that our lives are woven together, that the threads of our experiences, though seemingly disparate, are interconnected. I realize that I have my own hidden stories to share, stories that will continue to inspire and guide those who come after me. Grandma Aurora's example shows me that it's never too late to uncover and share our own legacies, to leave behind a piece of ourselves for future generations. The scent of old paper and leather wafts up from the diary, transporting me to a different time and place. I feel the softness of the armchair, the warmth of the sun on my skin, and the gentle rustle of the pages as I turn them. The music playing softly in the background seems to swell, filling me with a sense of hope and renewal. As I look back on Grandma Aurora's story, I'm reminded that courage is not the absence of fear, but the willingness to act in the face of it. Her legacy is a testament to the human spirit, to the power of love and sacrifice to transcend time and circumstance. I'm grateful for the gift of her story, for the chance to know her more deeply, and to carry her legacy forward. In the silence, I hear the whispers of the past, guiding me toward a deeper understanding of life and its mysteries. The diary, once a secret keeper, has become a bridge between generations, a reminder that our stories are the threads that weave our families together. As I close the diary, I feel a sense of closure, a sense of connection to my grandmother and to the past. The memories, now unlocked, will stay with me forever, a reminder of the enduring power of love and sacrifice. Grandma Aurora's story has shown me that our legacies are not just the big things we do, but the small, everyday acts of kindness, courage, and love. Her diary has become a part of me, a guide for navigating life's challenges and uncertainties. As I look directly at you, I want to share this wisdom with you. Your story is waiting to be told, and it's in sharing it that you'll find the true meaning of your life. Don't let it remain hidden, let it guide you and inspire others. The power of our stories lies not just in the events they recount, but in the emotions they evoke, the lessons they teach, and the connections they forge. In the end, it's not the artifacts or the secrets that define us, but the love we share, the courage we show, and the legacies we leave behind. Grandma Aurora's story has taught me that, and I hope it will teach you, too. As I smile, feeling a sense of peace and understanding, I know that her legacy will live on, a testament to the transformative power of love and sacrifice. As I sit here, reflecting on Grandma Aurora's story, I'm reminded of the profound impact that one person's life can have on generations to come. Her tale is a testament to the enduring power of love, sacrifice, and hidden legacies, woven into the fabric of history. It's a story that whispers secrets of resilience, courage, and the unbreakable bonds that tie us together. In the quiet moments, when the world outside recedes, and all that's left is the gentle hum of memory, Grandma Aurora's story comes alive. It's a story that began in the rolling hills of Willow Creek, where the air was sweet with the scent of blooming wildflowers, and the sky seemed to stretch on forever. It was a time of simplicity, yet profound depth, where the rhythms of nature and the pulse of human connection defined the days. But then, like a dark cloud on the horizon, war approached, casting a long shadow over the tranquil landscape. Thomas, Aurora's brother, watched with growing unease as the news from Europe grew more ominous. And it was then, in this crucible of uncertainty, that Elias, a young German scientist, appeared, driven by a desperate quest to safeguard a device of untold power. The labyrinth beneath the church, with its ancient stones and whispering shadows, became a threshold to a world of danger and discovery. It was there, amidst the musty scent of aged stone and the faint glow of luminescent mushrooms, that Aurora and Elias forged an unbreakable bond. Together, they navigated the treacherous paths of war, their footsteps echoing through the silence, as they strove to protect the device and its secrets. The pain of loss and the weight of responsibility drove Aurora forward, even as the world around her seemed to crumble. With Elias's final breath, she became the guardian of his legacy, a legacy that would span continents and decades. Ravenswood, with its bustling streets and faceless crowds, offered a refuge, but also a new beginning. Aurora immersed herself in the art of cryptography, the language of maps, and the whispers of politics, transforming her grief into a potent force for change. As the war finally receded, leaving behind a scarred but resilient world, Aurora returned to Willow Creek. She wove her experiences into the fabric of family tales, passing them down through generations. And now, as her granddaughter holds the diary, a tangible link to the past, the story comes full circle. If these tales have resonated with you, touched your heart, or stirred your soul, then I know that Grandma Aurora's story has fulfilled its purpose. It lives on through you, in the echoes of your own experiences, in the laughter and tears you've known, and in the quiet moments when you, too, ponder the mysteries of love, loss, and legacy. As we close this chapter, I invite you to take a moment to reflect on the power of hidden legacies. Leave a like, subscribe to our channel for more stories that breathe life into the complexities of the human experience, and share this tale with those who might find solace, inspiration, or a deeper understanding of the ties that bind us. And as the music swells, carrying us toward the horizon, I ask you, what secret do you think Grandma Aurora held dearest to her heart, a secret that guided her through the darkest of times and illuminated the path for those who followed? Please, share your thoughts in the comments below. Your reflections are a vital part of this story, a testament to the enduring power of shared experiences. In the silence that follows, I hope you'll carry Grandma Aurora's story with you, allowing its lessons to seep into your heart, and its love to illuminate your path. For in the end, it's not the years we live, but the life we pour into those years, that truly defines us.